All right, so let's have a look at the second part of the task. Second part of the task says, how could Cheapy alter its charging so that it steals Qt's Qt Cars customers? Now, remember, Qt Cars is this one here. Qt Cars is this one. This is Qt Cars. Qt Cars. And Cheapy is the other one. Cheapy is this one that starts at 0. This is Cheapy. Now, there's no right answer here, folks. And as long as you do something that makes sense, you're probably going to be in a reasonable state to get the marks you need. The first thing is, of course, Cheapy really, Qt Cars really needs to change its charging practices. And you could do pretty much anything you like. You could start it at the same, so you could actually start it at the same level here. In fact, let's have a look. And you want it to remain competitive, though. So I would almost tend here. Yeah, I would actually tend to make it basically about the same. So this Cheapy here is fine, but it needs basically to be about, this needs to fall down to this level here. And so really, you want it to do this. You want to make this one here to actually start here. So this is what I would tend to do. This is the first thing you could do. And make this new line here. Now, you should draw the line straight through, actually. I'll draw this line straight through. So, sorry, you can't see that very well. So I'm drawing it straight through from 0. Here it goes, straight through all the way. So there it is. And what I've got now, we've changed Cheapy. Cheapy is now changed to move to this one here. So this is now Cheapy. Now, so what have we done to Cheapy? Cheapy had an equation. And actually, let's go to the equation of Cheapy. Cheapy had an equation. So Cheapy, what equation was? Cheapy was, what was that? 0 equals 0.3 m. That was Cheapy's equation. And now what we're doing is we're just changing the gradient, yeah? So it passes through 400, 90. So in other words, let's have a look at that gradient now. So this is going to be 400 along and 90 up. So it's going to equal now, this is what it was. This is going to be now 400. It's going to be, 90 over 400 because it's rise over run. So M is now, this is the new one, yeah? Or the new one is going to be 90 over 400. Yeah, 90 up, 400 along. There it is. Yeah, and that's going to be the new one. So 90 over 400, that's 9 over 40. I wonder if I can, no, I'm just going to leave it as 9 over 40. I think that's really quite good. M is 9 over 40. So Cheapy now has an equation of 9 over 40 M. And that is the new, and again, you want to say where M is kilometers, yeah? Distance in kilometers. So you want to say that. So that would do it. That would certainly get it. But I would actually like to see, because we know they could be traveling up to 400 kilometers. Why don't you have another version where it's always going to be cheaper up to 600 kilometers? So I would actually suggest another alternative where it's always going to be cheaper up to 600, which if the person who was going to, and by the way, it's not really in the cars company favor to do this. There it is. There it is. So there's this one here. So if I have this one now, if we move Cheapy down to here, and again, I'm not writing all this in, but I'm just suggesting that if we move Cheapy down to here, it would always, and if you knew, for example, you weren't going to be traveling more than 600 kilometers, then this one would be definitely the one to choose because it's cheaper than all the other ones. And up to 600 Ks, it's way cheaper, except, of course, if you got the 90. So you also mean you're not going to choose that one either. And that was, which one was that? That was called Hot Wheels. So you're not going to choose Hot Wheels either. because you're always going to choose Hot Wheels if you know you are going to end up at maybe 600 kilometers or something. So this one here, though, this is going to be 90 over 600. So here, the new cheapie here is, so this cheapie here now is cost is equal to, and this is 90 over 600. So 90 over 600, I'll write that in. And 90 over 600 is 9 over 60. Let's do that now. 90 over 600. And that is equals 3 over 20 m. Now, if that's this line here. And the advantage of that one, and you'd have to write this, and I'm not writing it in, I'm letting you write that in, but you'd say the advantage here is that it's always the cheapest, up to 600 kilometers, including for Hot Wheels as well. Now, all the question asked you is, how would you make it competitive with cute cars? But we're actually going to, I've actually suggested one which is cheaper than the other one as well. But there's other things you could do here. And certainly you could, what else could you do here? Gosh, there's so much you could do. So you could play around with the gradient. You could also charge, what am I doing here? Yeah, so there's a rate, anyway, without going into detail here. I'm just looking at the way in which the answers worded actually, and there's an answer sheet here which actually suggests alternatives here as well. The thing is to have a look at this. The main thing is to write out why it's cheaper and which one you would use and why, and come up with the math as well. Like I've just said this one here, and I've given you the math here. This is how you'd calculate it. So cheaply, the cost is 9 over 40 m. But again, play around with it, see what you would do, see if you agree, and the main thing is to come up with alternatives. But remember, whatever you come up with, show what it would be, show what it would be cheaper up to, because here you could say, I think this is the thing I would actually say, is you need to actually point out, this is going to be cheaper up to 400 kilometers. After 400, though, things change a little bit here, and let's have a look. Right, yeah. So cute cars, well, after 400 kilometers, it's no longer cheaper, and cute cars becomes cheaper after 400 kilometers. So you might want to make it so it's cheaper beyond there as well. Because remember, we've still got to get up to, well, possibly 600 kilometers. Anyway, they're your things you should be thinking of. I won't go into detail with it now, but I just want to give you a heads up as to different ways to think about this. And all the best for the exam tomorrow if you're sitting it.